It's training camp season. Today we're looking at the Cleveland Browns, and we're still on Shedeur Sanders' watch. We're going to go over the numbers. We're going to go over what the media is saying. We're going to go over what we've been seeing throughout training camp and what we want to see going forward. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're looking at training camp. We're looking at practice every single day. We're looking at your players, your position battles. Guys, you're getting ready to draft in fantasy football. Click that button. Stop missing out. We're on Shedeur Sanders' watch. And I know when I do these videos, I'm entertaining and I'm funny for you guys. But there's nothing funny about this. There's nothing funny about the QB tracker here when we're watching the stats from practice. There's nothing funny here because Gabriel 1 for 5. Gabriel 6 for 19.
How did Dillon Gabriel look?
I would not be putting stock in Dillon Gabriel as a future quarterback of this team if I were Browns fan.
And then the big practice where all the quarterbacks go off on 8-11. Gabriel's cool, 7 for 10, Pickett 5 for 5. That's a cool day. Practice before that, 7 for 8. Then it's 4 for 5. Shedeur, though, all those practices. I do not see a practice where he doesn't cook. 49 for 70 before 8-4. Those first 9 practices of camp, the most touchdowns, a damn good completion rate. You're looking at Gabriel. 62 completions. Took him 113 pass attempts to get there. 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. And you're looking at that. We've been out with a hamstring. We've been very cold this week.
What was he yesterday?
Yesterday, he was 6 of 19, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
6 of 19.
6 of 19.
He missed 13 passes on less than 20?
He completed 31% of his passes.
Ooh, wow.
But Sanders, we're looking at the numbers here on top of OTA's minicamp, rookie camp, now training camp. Wire to wire, we cashed in. There has not been a bad practice. But yet, 4th on the depth chart, coming back from a oblique injury. We had that shoulder soreness. But the other two's been dealing with hamstrings. So that's even Steven. If not, he's still ahead on that part. He's been looking good. Not only that, killed it in the Carolina game. And even, you go to ESPN Cleveland on the Twitter, they're wondering when he's going to surpass Gabriel on the depth chart. We're wondering when he's going to surpass Kenny Pickett on the depth chart. So I'm not the only one out there. The whole world is wondering about this. And they're also wondering, they're even bringing it up themselves. Is Shedeur being sabotaged? What's going on? What is going on is a quarterback that's been hitting at all cylinders throughout his tenure here with the Browns and is not getting the love. Really just not. And it's a shame that oblique had to hit this time because another preseason battle of him proving everybody wrong was in the cards. Now we get to see Dillon Gabriel as a starter. I want to see what that's going to look like. I want to see if he can turn things around, heat up. But when you really think about things right now, Shedeur outperformed Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel.
Gabriel was chosen for a reason. 3rd round pick, that is, over Shedeur. Now, again, proof is in the pudding because since Shedeur has been here, I'm going to be fair about this. It's fair to say that Shedeur has outperformed him and Kenny Pickett. I will go that far and say that, and I don't think I'm being inaccurate in that statement, nor does it come from a place of being of mean-spiritedness. It's just being objective about what we've seen. And obviously, Shedeur, with his performance on Friday, that puts him even further ahead of Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel. But you're right, though. He does deserve a chance to be seen and see what he can do. And Kevin Stefanski does hold to the ideal. I have to believe, and we've seen it.
And at the very least, and this is what I'm just asking, more opportunities to prove himself. Just more opportunities. And we did not get that. And there were practices where he rung up a 70 to 80% completion rate. And I come right back here after practice before the numbers were released to talk about what I was reading, seeing, and everything else when he came with the clips. I'd share them with you guys. And you guys would be like, he had a good practice. What are you talking about? It's because we waited so long in practice before we started getting word of when he was starting to get reps. Like, I was literally refreshing for like an hour, and there were no signs of Shedeur Sanders being on the field. And that was those reps when we saw Gabriel back in action after the hamstring and everything else. It was before the joint practice with the Panthers, and you're like, come on, get this guy out on the field. And I told you there was good news, there was bad news. Somebody even called me a hater when I did all these videos. But Shedeur Sanders outperformed Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel in training camp. He sure did. He put it on wax. He did it every single day. He did it well in preseason. And let's talk about the Carolina game here. That was an interesting game because not only did he play well, but the Panthers' defense looked good. There were some shady downs and distances where it was 3rd and long, 2nd and long, 4th and long. That second drive, he was able to get a few throws downfield. He had that 10-yard run. Then they come out with an end around and get stuffed. They go with Dillon Sampson up the gut, gets stuffed, kills that drive. But man, after that muff punt, you're in the red zone. You see him roll out and sling that touchdown and getting it over the top of those 2 DBs. That one DB by the front pylon made a good play, almost getting back to it. He had good feet on that play. He was pretty far away from the play, was still able to get to it after trying to be around his guy at the moment. But really, shredding it in that second touchdown over the middle. Like, he proved himself in that game.
Thought it was the perfect start. In the game, they only had 6 penalty flags. 4 of them were with all the third and fourth stringers in. So it was a pretty clean game. I was surprised at that. You also asked me anything about Shedeur surprised me. I mentioned the play fake touchdown, but also operationally, he was almost flawless. I mean, he was getting plays off so fast. There was never any delay, worry, That was important, too. Remember, we said on RBS last week, boy, if he just does that well, that's a feather in his cap. He went on and produced a pretty good game beyond just doing the basics, but he was exceptional at doing the basics.
And then how can you look at Dillon Gabriel after what he's done so far and look at Shedeur and have him 4th on the depth chart?
You go into week 1. Give me your projected 1, 2, 3. Who's on the sidelines for the Browns? Who's starting quarterback?
So your starter is Joe Flacco. Your 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, who's the backup? Sunday, September 7th.
Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel.
Man.
That's the big question here because game after game, practice after practice, Shedeur's been killing it, wire to wire. That's the thing about this. Now, when you look at Dillon Gabriel, this is a big preseason performance for him because if he sucks, if he's been doing like he's been doing this week in practice, and it's been looking horrible from what we're hearing from the joint practices this week. Like, he does not look like he's NFL ready. He's not ready to be a starter. He's not ready to compete for a starting job. But he has the potential to be a good backup in the league for a long time. But he needs time to develop. He should be getting similar reps to Shedeur right now. And Shedeur has the upside for more. He's proven that. And you're looking at Dillon Gabriel. How can he look like a franchise quarterback? How's that even possible?
I can't see a world where Dillon Gabriel is a franchise quarterback. Doesn't it feel more and more as the days go by like, hey, man, and gosh, you're going to hate me for saying this. I got to say it. Don't you feel like this is the smartest guys in the room type of pick? Because you say it's draft currency. You say quarterbacks are currency. Andrew Bayer says that all the time. Were you planning on taking Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round to someday turn him into a 4th round pick? Were you if that's his floor, were you taking him in the 3rd round to maybe get another 3rd out of him?
That never made sense.
Because you have holes that you needed that if you did your scouting, maybe you could have found the guy. Don't think for a second, we won't be looking at this roster this year. They still probably won't be that great. But if you look at this roster this year, you go, boy, we could have got this guy or that guy in the 3rd round, and maybe that guy could have been a ball player for us and contributed to this football team. Because you can only play one quarterback. And where else am I going to put Dillon Gabriel out there on the field?
Is that even in the cards? You look at his profile coming out of college. You look at where he got drafted and everything else. He's a good, accurate quarterback. He's got a lot of experience. All of that sounds great and all. You look at the arm strength. You look at the balls getting batted down in practice, the interceptions. We covered that. We showed the clips here. How is that going to grade well And how are you feeling about him becoming a franchise quarterback? This team already has 2 draft picks in the chamber for next year for a quarterback. So when you think about it in that light, why would you not look at Shedeur Sanders even more? Shedeur Sanders has been killing it in practice. He's been solid. Why not give him some opportunity with the ones? Because Gabriel keeps getting it. He keeps getting opportunity with the ones. Shedeur Sanders has not. That is an interesting fact considering Shedeur Sanders was out there when they were out with hamstrings. He's been cooking, not been having bad practices. From what was reported, which could have been pseudo, pre-snap, Gabriel's been looking pretty good. But the thing is, sure, but post-snap's what matters. And you got to make the plays, and you got to be consistent and all that stuff. It ain't been happening. He's been on a cold streak, and he's had moments in OTAs, in minicamp, balls being batted down, coming close to throwing picks. And when they picked up Kenny Pickett, like when you looked at that deal, everybody knew, like, hey, this isn't going to be their long-term quarterback. He does not have that type of upside. We called that out during the draft process. We called that out years ago. We didn't even have him as the best quarterback in that weak quarterback class. There's clips, and we've had it, and we even showed it on here, of him and Pickett talking together, him and Shedeur. And Shedeur looks like he's the guy mentoring Pickett when Pickett's been in the league for a bit. Shedeur's been carrying himself well. He's been saying the right things. He's been doing the right things out there. His competition in camp has been living up to it. He's been living up to it. We're going to get in season, and we know this is like a 5-win team right now. Flacco could surprise us, and he has that potential. And Flacco's been doing a good job mentoring the other quarterbacks and everything else. And he could go on a good run. He had a hot practice the other day against the Eagles. But it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about this crusty coaching staff and how they're manipulating these quarterbacks in practice and how they're staying statuesque with how they want to maneuver things. Not willing to allow the guys who are performing to get added opportunities to succeed, to prove themselves. And that's what we're seeing here. I think Gabriel just fits the system, and they're just jamming the round peg in the square hole to see if they can make it fit. And it's not fitting, it's not working out because talent will win out. The talent of Shedeur, stronger arm, just as accurate, if not more accurate. That deep ball down the seam, back pylon by the sideline, crushes anything Gabriel does. Gabriel's more experienced, sure, but he's also been in college for so long because he couldn't hack it and couldn't get out to the NFL level, so he just had to just stay in college. Like, he did not exceed expectations in college enough to get himself drafted earlier. Like, he had to switch schools, he had to do this, he had to do that. If he was so good, he would have took over college football a lot sooner and came out a lot sooner. You're looking at Shedeur, who came out from the FCS level, goes to Colorado, plays behind a piss-poor offensive line. You see Colorado change, and then you see the Colorado change a lot more the next year. He has that under his tool belt. Dillon Gabriel was in college for a long time. Never you thought about Dillon Gabriel 2-3 years into his career, and you're like, first-round draft pick. Going into this year, people were saying first-round draft pick Shedeur. That's one thing. Fell to the 5th round. I get people use that tag all day. But right now in camp, it's not looking that way. It's not looking like 3rd rounder versus 5th rounder and 3rd rounders winning it. It sure does not. So that's what we're looking at right here. So when we get in season, I believe Stefanski is going to hold true to what he's been doing the whole time. He's going to go to Kenny Pickett. He's going to go to Gabriel. Everybody's going to be frustrated. And then you're going to look at Shedeur. And the Browns will probably be a train wreck. The one thing that is encouraging for this team is they're getting Quinshon Judkins back. He's going to have a long ramp up. He hasn't had a training camp. Training camp's pretty much wrapped up. They're still practicing and all that. That being said, that talent's unreal. Combined with Dylan Sampson, who's an unreal talent, that could help Shedeur if he ever gets an opportunity here. He's stacked enough days to prove himself here with the Cleveland Browns to another team. And I believe he's auditioning for another team. That's what I believe. And another team's going to swoop in one way or another somewhere down the line. Maybe he has to climb that depth chart. But again, we know he can compete in this league, and he's proved it. He put on wax. But one thing that has been proved is this ownership, the leadership, the coaching. They're not willing to budge. They're jamming round pegs in square holes. They ain't going to make it work. And the Cleveland Browns are going to be the Cleveland Browns. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Well, thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.